Hello, Story Church. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Epi-Vlog. This is a vlog that focuses in on our Sunday morning gathering. It's an ongoing conversation in light of the sermon that was given on Sunday. So if you haven't had a chance to listen, we'd invite you to click the link in the comments section, as always. However, if you are listening and you notice a popping sound throughout, your computer, your phone, it's not on the maggot. It's actually just fine. We forgot to turn the metronome off on GarageBand, and so our apologies. We'll fix that for next week. But you're not going crazy, okay? And your device is just fine. But we looked at Luke chapter 15, verses 1 through 7. It's the story of the lost sheep. This is a great story, this great parable that Jesus teaches. And of course, throughout the summer, we've been pairing a parable with one of the Proverbs. And we were specifically in Proverbs 16 this week. Proverbs 16:2 says this: "All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit." It's a great reminder that we're tempted to fool ourselves. You see, in the sermon, we spent a large chunk of time to look at the original audience, because in that audience with the sinners and the tax collectors were also the ones that Jesus called the hypocrites, the Pharisees, the teachers of the law. You see, they had nothing to learn. They knew it all. They had nothing to gain from Jesus, or so they thought. And so we need to be self-aware. We need to recognize that every one of us can be that. And so when I think about Brennan Manning's line, and I love what he writes, he says, "The first step in the pursuit of truth is the decision to stop deceiving ourselves." I think that's rich, because we're all tempted to deceive ourselves, and really our enemy in the pursuit of truth is always going to be our self-reliance and our self-deception that flows out of that. And so there's a warning as we examine the audience. But then we get into the story, and Jesus tells us this wonderful story where there's a shepherd with 100 sheep, and one goes astray. And we see the shepherd in the story risking his life, putting his life on the line to go and save the one, leaving the other 99 behind and going to the one. It's really beautiful, because it's a picture of God. It's a picture of him as our good shepherd. And we see the love that he has for each and every one of us. And see, we can identify with the shepherd, because if we've been rescued by him, then we become a shepherd. And we have a chance to put our lives on the line. But we can also identify with the 99 who remain. Sometimes we're in the pen with Jesus. We're tuned in, and we're gathering with God's people. But then there are the times that we can identify with the lost sheep. I think it's real important that we recognize what's going on with the lost one. You see, the lost one is there because he's teaching us a lesson. He's teaching us that we're easily distracted. I don't think anybody out there will argue with that fact. As sheep of the Lord's pasture, we are easily distracted. And so the self-examination point today, the focus of the vlog, and I'd love for you to comment and get into this discussion with us. But what is your distraction? How are you distracted? It's not always by evil things. Sometimes we wander and we stray because we've been tempted by sin. And that's true for all of us as well. Sometimes it's the good things. Even as a pastor, I'm here on Monday and I'm looking at my schedule. It is full this week. It is so full. And I had to stop and ask myself this morning, what if I see that there's a sheep that has gone astray? What if there's a rescue mission that I need to be like Jesus, the Good Shepherd? I need to go pursue someone. Would I be willing to break my busyness? Would I be willing, if my child needs me in a moment, to skip out on what I'm trying to accomplish this week? Am I willing to set aside my agenda to be useful, to put my life or my plans on the line to go save that lost one? That's a challenge for me. I don't know what your point of distraction is this week, but that's my ask of you this morning or this afternoon, is that you would examine how you might be distracted, or how you are distracted right now. Have you wandered away? Or are you a distracted shepherd who have lost the love of Christ and his desire to go gather those that are not a part of his flock? Hey, those are the thoughts that I have for you this morning. Um, Please interact with us. Let me know how it is you're distracted, because I want you praying for me and I want to pray for you. It's really helpful if you subscribe to the blog, so you can do that right there. It helps us if we can gain some followers. But in the meantime, have a listen, give it some thought, and take this before the Lord. I can't wait to worship with you again next Sunday. We'll talk to you later.